I'm going to start by talking about examples of systems God created, showing you that God is a God of systems and that God is a systemic God. God does everything by systems, and God himself. So for the people who are saying that, you know, we are not spiritual because we are talking about systems, then God is not spiritual. Because this is this is what they call it, modus operandi is for God. This is God's modus operandi. And if this is God's modus operandi and we are learning and studying him, did you agree on the shirt? Did you agree? Is that zebra or tiger? So, well, God's modus operandi is what we are studying. And if you are studying the ways of God, the Bible says that God showed to Moses his ways, why to Israel just his works. So which one is better? You know, we are learning the ways of God, and you are saying we have missed it. No, that's exactly what is needed. We need to know how God works, his ways of doing things, his methods. And that's what we're doing, because God himself is systemic in his operation. So let me prove it to you. Don't just believe me. Let me prove it to you. Examples of how God has created systems and works by systems. Okay, here we go. Examples of systems God created. Who is going to read? Are you sure?
I will try.
But you are also trying to take notes. No, it has to be somebody, one person from beginning to the end.
Okay.
Because we are going to later give the presentation to the person. So he will not need to take notes. He will get all the thing together. Yeah. Yes? You want to say something?
No.
You want to read? No, he started to read. Oh, he's tired. He can still read from there? Yeah. Ah, okay.
Okay. Examples of systems God created.
Okay.
The reproductive system. This is primarily due to the fact that this particular system is based on laws of life. In Genesis 1 verse 1, God created the animals once, and he said, he blessed them to reproduce themselves.
Okay, so we are now going to look at God and how he works by systems. That is this one is the most obvious one. Reproductive system. How was I giving birth to? If you knew my mom, if you knew my mother, the woman who gave birth to me, you will know that really it is not by might and not by power. You will know that God has finished everything. And the same way he has finished everything concerning systems is the same way he has finished everything concerning all of life. So all those things that we are doing in church, running to church to go and ask for one favor or the other, and asking God and begging him to now begin to do something for us, is because we don't know God. It's a demonstration of not knowing God. See, let's talk about reproductive system. And again, remember this. Just like it works with reproduction, that's the way it works, and it's supposed to work with all of life, all aspects of life. So let's take reproduction, which is we are more familiar with. If you take a little girl, is your last born a girl? A boy. That boy, 1-year-old boy, that boy already has the ability to father children, to become a family man, and also to become a tribe, and also to become a nation, all in himself, even though he's just 1 year old. What do you call that? That is system. So what is that system called that enables him to be able to become a father and to be able to keep on regenerating until it becomes a nation without God coming to intervene. What is that called? That's what we call the reproductive system. Now, the same applies to animals, birds. The same appeals. I mean, what do I say? The same appeal applies to trees, everything. The same applies to everything. So, look at that. Like I said about my mom. My mother, I didn't know her, but I got to know her just late in life, but I didn't grow up with her. But from what I've seen of her, there are people like that, like my mother, all over Africa. She couldn't read. She never went to school because at that point when she was growing up, they didn't send girls to school. So she was not sent to school, even though her siblings were sent to school, who were men, but she was not sent to school because she was a woman. She was a girl, a lady. So she couldn't read, even in my Yoruba language. Now I don't know how strange that sounds to you, but to Europeans here, for me to say that is so wild. That is so like, in this age, somebody cannot read, and it's your mother. That people here, they don't even believe that Sunday Adelaja, could come from the womb of somebody that didn't even read any letter, and as well couldn't write anything all her life. Even her name. But they always come to me and say, blessed is the womb that carried you, and blessed is the nipples that you suck. They used to come to me and say that all the time. So they are probably thinking that womb is the womb of a professor. But funny enough, no. So when I used to look at her, because even though I was a child when I saw her, I left Nigeria at 19. So I was seeing her a few times from the age of 12 to 15. So, and I was looking, how can somebody not know how to write? For my grandmother, I could understand that one. But she was younger than her mother. So how can somebody not know how to write? And she was, people look silly when they cannot write and read what you have brought to them. And that person is the person who gave birth to me. And the reason why she could give birth to me, she didn't make the choice. The reason why she could give birth to me was because God programmed that in. No matter how dumb you are, no matter how illiterate you are, no matter how uncivilized, uneducated you are. I used to see people like that when I look at some Discovery Channel in Africa. People who are naked and people who don't even know there is anything called writing in the first place. And these people give birth to children. And the reason is because God has finished everything. That's the point I'm trying to make. God has finished everything concerning all of us. So all those years we are spending in churches, all night vigils and all those things, there is a place for them. If you want to know the place for them, go and listen to my prayer series. I have a prayer series. So there is a need and a prayer, but it's not for what we are going to those places for. So a lot of things we are doing with those prayers and church and all those things is a waste of time. 75% of all our activities, prayer activities in church, is a waste of time. Prayer is meant for another thing than what we are using it for. So, like for example, in my own country, most everybody goes to pray to church, a woman, to ask for the womb, for the fruit of the womb, which could be possible, but God can do that miracle too. But most often, understanding will do a better job. Not better job than God, but the fact that God has already finished it. And even if God would do a miracle now, it's just out of mercy and love. But it's not the order of the day. Those miracles we're asking for shouldn't be the order of the day. Miracles should be happening as the order of the day on regular basis, just by following principles and laws. By understanding principles and laws and applying them, natural miracles should be happening. And those miracles, they are the ones that are supposed to rule the world. That is how the world is supposed to function. So this reproductive organ we are talking about right now, okay, we know about barrenness. You know, some people will say, okay, what about people who are barren? Or what about people who are... But most of those barrenness, they actually have biological explanations. You know, and if we could study things very well and really approach it in a scientific manner, some of them, or most of them, will have solution. Rather than just going to church and pray. I mean, you are not treating the thing. You are not fixing the condition. You are just hoping that something will happen. Okay, let's even assume that something happens and you become pregnant. But you will never be able to reproduce that same miracle tomorrow because you have to wait for the mercy of God again. But if you do it through science, then we know that, okay, this is the method. You remember what I said? We will know the principle that was used. And that could be reapplied to other people. It could be used again to help other people. So that way, by finding out the problem and, you know, coming out with a formula of how to resolve it, by resolving that one problem, any other similar problem that will come for the next 1,000 years, we can be resolving them. But with the miracle, yes, you got that child, but there is no guarantee that the next person who has the same condition will get the same miracle in church. That's why that is another proof to us that we are not supposed to live by miracles. That is not the order of the day. That we are not created to live by miracles, which means we are not also created to be asking for miracles, which means we are not supposed to be at the mercy of even God, because God has already been so kind and made provision for all things that we will ever need. So when he now says, I've given you all things for life and godliness, he was not lying. God was not lying. He has actually given us everything for life. So this reproductive, okay, let's leave human reproduction system. That's more complex. But people will be arguing, I went to church, they prayed, I drank anointing oil, I got pregnant, so what will you say? Okay, but look at this, what do you call this animal again? Penguin, yeah? Penguin. Look at this penguin. Which anointing oil did they drink? Can you see the child? Can you see the child of the penguin there? It works for them. The chicken and the goats and the cats and the pigs and all of them, the reproductive system works for them. That is a proof that God has done a good job and a complete job. When it comes to man, we'll be pulling it, they're arguing it and say, okay, well, I did the sacrifice and it is the sacrifice that helped. But no sacrifice would have helped if God had not put the finished product inside in the first place. If that reproductive system had not been put there and completed by God, no sacrifice would have helped. No prayer would have helped too. The only real miracle that happened, even in that one there was no prayer, was the one of Mary, the mother of Jesus. And nobody prayed, because it was God's sovereign work. But it was the real miracle, bigger than all other ones that are getting anointing oil these days. Now, does that mean I don't believe in these things? It doesn't mean I don't believe. Please, if you go to the corridor there, you will see a photograph hanging of two children, one boy, one girl, wearing Ukrainian dress like this. Remove it and bring it to me. We believe in these things. We believe in miracles too, that God can do everything. But in Africa, we waste too much time seeking after miracles instead of seeking after the knowledge that God has already. You remember, he conditioned everything to work by laws. You remember we said that? He subjected the whole of life, universe, to work by laws. So our main occupation, at least let's use 80/20 principle. 80% of the time we are supposed to be spending time to discover those laws and principles upon which they have been subjected. I think she didn't get it though. She got lost. You know what I'm just here by the wall. So So we shouldn't be spending all our lives. The more time you spend asking God to do it, first of all, you get God angry. No, maybe not angry, but it's love. But you got him frustrated because you are blaming him. You are pointing accusing fingers at him. You are trying to tell him that he didn't do a good job in the first place. You are trying to make him take responsibility for what you are supposed to take responsibility for. So we shouldn't be spending all that time in prayers in Africa and in church. We should be spending all the time in the laboratory, in the library. 80% of our time supposed to be in there, and only 20% that we have our personal time with God, and not in church necessarily, but personal relationship with God. Let's go to the Garden of Eden, for example. If you go to the Garden of Eden, you know Adam and Eve, they were not spending 80% of their time praying. No. In fact, they didn't even pray. Why were they not praying in the Garden of Eden? Because they didn't need it. They were already having just his presence. And even that presence was all there. They didn't sit down and say, okay, this is the presence of God here. Let's begin to look at it and say, more Lord, more Lord. No, they just walked in the presence. So what were they doing? They were busy cultivating the ground, tilling the ground, naming the animals. The presence of God sustained them, but that didn't make them idle. In our own age today, the presence of God is making us idle instead of productive. In the Garden of Eden, the presence of God was making them more productive than normal. So when the presence of God left, they couldn't be as productive anymore. So what does that tell me? If we claim that we have the presence of God, that we know God, it should make us to be more productive than people who don't know God. And then when the only time they stopped their activity, their work, was when the work they had finished. And God would come down at the cool of the evening of the day to fellowship with them. But that was only at the cool of the day in the evenings. Not from morning to night in church. So church only happened once in a while. In the evening sometime. But the whole day, they were being productive. So God has put everything in place. Don't blame. Let's stop, this kind of religious practices that makes us to almost believe that you need some special prayers to protect you from witches and wizards. Or you need to always be afraid that somebody is after you. God has fixed all that, my dear. So the productive system is a proof of how God works in systems. So that's just one aspect of that. But the next aspect of that you should know is that just as God has put this reproductive system in place and all other systems is in place, He's giving us, remember, suggestions. Everything God does is a prototype, it's a module, suggestion of how we should operate.
It's not there.
It's not there anymore? Maria, де фотография вот это, пара, детей, которые в украинских одеждах, София и брат его, они там весела здесь, возле. Здесь весела, ты не видел? Когда мы заходим сюда, возле охраны, весела фотография, двух украинских детей. So God is also trying to teach us how we should operate, which is everything you do too, make sure you put it in system. Just like you would not need to, operate your child or your son or your daughter to have a child or to be pregnant or to be, it just works automatically because God did it. God works in system. He puts everything in automatic rotation like that. So God is a God of system. This one. So, but let's start again.
Okay. The reproductive system. This is primarily due to the fact that this particular system is based on laws of life. In Genesis 1 verse 1, God created the animals once and He blessed them to reproduce themselves.
He created everything once and put in system. Everything once and put in system. The same thing we should learn to do. Okay?
God does not miraculously create animals every day. Those animals are now part of a system of reproduction. They do it largely without God's intervention.
Not just animals, all of us too. God only created one Adam and Eve. He didn't create any human being after that. Why? Because of the reproductive system. Okay, the next system that we are operating in. So we are all familiar with the reproductive system we are operating in. Let's get familiar with another system that we are all operating in, but we might not even be aware of it. We are not even aware we are living in this system. So this is solar system.
Okay, solar system. God set it up so that the earth spins in this incredible, complex, beautiful system we call the solar system.
Yeah, you have to read.
Oh, the planets.
Yeah,
okay, so we've got Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto.
So everything is, operating. But solar system. Okay, let's get the explanation.
Good. This ensures that the sun will shine in every country, yet at different times. He doesn't keep adding to it. It was created once and then systematized it to run without his help.
See, that's the solar system. We all enjoy the sun and we see that, it's working perfectly. When the sun goes off here, it appears in Australia. When it goes off in Australia, it appears in America or something like that. But it's working so perfectly. But it's a system. God doesn't need to fix it. Solar or sun every day. It's a system. And we don't even bother how it works. Can you imagine that in the West, people know more about solar system and they study it, but in Africa, nobody studied anything, no NASA. And yet, the same system is serving them. The same system is working the same way. There are some territories somewhere, they are still in Stone Age. They don't even know any system, they don't know the name, they don't know anything. But that solar system is still working for them. 1,000 years ago, when our people were just in the bush and they didn't know anything, that system was still working for them. So God is a God of system. But you see how powerful system is. How many years ago was this solar system created? Time unlimited, right? We don't know. And it's still working. So can you imagine if we understand systems? I don't know if some of you have heard me say that I'm planning to live for the next 300 years. 300 to 500 years. If not, some of you heard that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I know system. I'm not planning to die. Even though I will not be here on the planet Earth, I will be in heaven. But while I'm in heaven, I'm going to keep on living. Why? I will build a system to function after me. And I'm already building the systems every day. And there is a photograph. I should was sняли, так кто снял? А кто снял? Okay, so just to say, for people who will say we don't believe in children, in miracles or barrenness or, whatever they call it, fruit of the womb, yes. Fruit of the womb and things like that. You see these children, the reason why it's hanging on my wall here is because the parents said, it has to hang in your house. I said, why? Because they are your children. Because they have been married for 16 years or so, or 14 years, and they couldn't have children by themselves, and they have gone through all the medical processes, and he was seeing me for the first time, and he said, Pastor Sunday, I believe, my wife is this, pray for us. So I prayed for him the first time, and they got a boy. Then he came back after 3 years and said, we got the boy, but none is coming back again. It's finished. since it worked the first time, I came back now. It's 3 years. We should have another one. So we prayed, and they got the second chance. So that's why they brought this. I said, you must keep it. And do you know the name of the boy?
No.
Sunday. I have a lot of Sundays like that.
Bless.
But they don't have Bosse. They don't call such names here. They don't, because it's not even their word. That's what Sunday, they don't know it here. It's a strange thing. Like, so it's a strange name for, but in fact, the government refused to register that name. Yeah, because they say it's not, it's not their culture. It's not, what kind of name is that? That's a day in English, a day of the week. So the father went there and protested and wanted to get a lawyer and all that to sue them, so they registered. Yes. Microphone.
My quick question is that they came to you for prayer and you prayed for them.
Yeah.
Was it their faith or the faith in you?
I don't know. I think it's the combination of the two. I think it's the combination of the two. Maybe it's their faith, but maybe they had faith that if I pray, something will happen. Well, I don't know. God just did it. You see, that's the problem with miracles. Yeah. I cannot explain it. And I'm so sorry. I'm so surprised the way Africans take credit for miracles. I cannot take credit for that one because I didn't even know what happened. I only prayed. I didn't play any role in that one. But the one you can ask me question, I can explain is the one I designed. And I know how it worked out. And that's the way it's supposed to work. So when people come and say, oh, they are anointed and they are taking the credit for what God did. And they are using that to build their own name and their ministry. I don't get that. So the way I understand church is that, no, let's find out principles and let's do things. What God did, like this one, we don't talk about it. We talk about it, we give God the glory for it. That's why when you hear testimonies in our church, you are not hearing too much testimonies about this kind of miracles. You are hearing testimonies about what people have been able to do and create with their own hand. That is what you can testify about. But what God did, what role did you play? You didn't play any role. It's God's glory. Let him take the glory, not you. So you can testify about what you did, or you can take glory for what you have done, or what would you play the role in. But this one, I didn't play any role in it. God did. I don't know what happened. I just prayed. God did it. I believed when I prayed, of course. But, I will be the first one to tell you that they are not the only ones I've prayed for, also believing that nothing happened. Which is another proof that I'm really very helpless when it comes to this thing. That it's not about me. So the solar system, we know the solar system too. That's a system. And, this is how things could live forever, or for ages at least. Now, with God, of course, it's forever, but with man, it might not be as long as that. But at least you could build a system that will serve you for years while you are even here, or even maybe afterwards. Like, for example, Thomas Edison, he left a system. Apart from his inventions, he left this, is it what do you call it? General Electrics. Is it General Electric you call it? General Electric, right? Yeah, General Electric. I think it's still there. It's still one of the richest companies in the world right now. So it's a system. And it's been dead long time. And General Electric is the person who started Coca-Cola, Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, Ford Motors. They are all dead, but they created a system. And the system, they are still living. You see, you are calling them Ford Motors. But the guy is still alive today and is still servicing us because he set up a system. McDonald's is dead long time, but the set up a system is still alive today. That's what I'm talking about. So I plan to live that way for the next 300 or 500 years. Maybe till Jesus comes, because I'm still working on my systems. I'm going to perfect the system in such a way that it's going to be a miracle for it to stop. And it might not stop till Jesus comes. So, so that's what system can do for you. The reproductive system is not stopping. The solar system is not stopping. Let's go and check another system that God created.
Hydrologic cycle, the water cycle.
So we all know the hydrologic cycle, right? That's the water cycle in nature, in the universe, the circulation of water. Because without water circulation, without hydrologic circulation of water, we will all be dried. We will all be finished. It will be over. So let's try to read some of the way the process works.
Okay, so we start with precipitation. Then we have infiltration, which is snow melt and runoff. That goes into the lake, and it's taken up by the plant uptake. From the plant we have evapotranspiration. From the lake we have evaporation, and that goes up into condensation.
So that's the way the cycle works, and it services all humanity, not just man. No, it services all of creation. Actually, it services the plant, the animal, everything. But it's a system. See how detailed God is. And some people will come and tell me this is by accident, that there's no God. I mean, it's unreal. This is God setting up a system that is beneficial to humans, beneficial to animals, beneficial to the plants, beneficial to the nature, and in one cycle. So this is an example of a system that is resolving many problems at the same time, in one process, resolving. So which means we could all set up systems that will provide multiple answers instead of just one singular answer and one singular solution. Is that clear, or is it a bit complicated? Yeah, okay. So let's go to the next system that God, ecosystem. These are like ecosystem, finished products, finished cycle, complete cycle. So let's go to the next system that God created. Okay, let's first of all explain this for you.
Okay. It rains. The bodies of water fill up. The water evaporates, and then it rains again.
Cycle, closed cycle. But what it does is what we saw here. You know, it services everything. Okay, let's see the one that is really closest to us, the most complicated, at least for us, system that God gave us, man.
Okay.
The next system God created is the system for human body, functioning of the human body.
The 11 human body system.
There are 11 of them. There are 11 systems that makes our body to function the way it is right now.
Yeah. Number 1, nervous system.
Do you know, for you people to know how detailed God is and how complex God is and how inferior we are to God, do you know that there are over maybe 10,000, maybe less, maybe 10, maybe 1,000 institutes, medical institutes, and research institutes, and universities, and departments, faculties, just devoted to studying nervous system or any of these systems. And there are thousands of professors in them. Do you think they understand? If you put all, let's even take the eyes alone. If you put all professors in the world just to fix the problem of eye alone, small eye, full teeth. That is why you still lose your teeth sometimes and they still don't know what to do with it. They say, leave it, let it be there, open, let the hole be there. It's not the biggest problem. They can't fix it. All professors in this world cannot do it. And you are talking that there is no God? This nervous system alone, why is it that we still have people shaking, people, the whole institutes, hospitals and doctor, professors, all our brain, we cannot fix that problem. Why is it that you are still wearing glasses, my sister? We cannot find an answer. Despite all the professors we have in that area. Yeah. We are so weak. We are so far from him. But one day we'll find answers for the glasses and everything. But it all depends on what? More research to know, to understand more of the laws that we have not understood so far. So the more we research, the deeper we get, the more provisions that will be coming up. And one of the reasons also why we don't have all the solutions is because a lot of people who are also supposed to be doing research are in churches, praying. So the people who are supposed to be providing solutions for a lot of things, they are not serious enough. They are just living their lives. They are living for survival, or for Uncle Sam, or for church. They are not researching. They are not looking for these laws and principles. Okay, so we have nervous system as number one.
Okay, number two, integumentary system.
Who knows what is integumentary system? You don't? Huh?
Skin and appendages.
Yes, that is the cover. What covers your body? Yes, all these things, the coverage that we have is a whole system. When you know, there's something they call skin cancer also. Yes. God forbid. If anybody has skin cancer, you know that it's not so simple. You know, we see skin now as if there is no problem. Skin, no. But if you have skin cancer, you will discover that it's a whole complex thing. Right now, it's just like skin now. Skin, what's the problem there? Just skin. No, very complex. Because in that skin, you have the hair growing. Me, I don't have hair growing. Somebody said my own hand is like woman and no hair there. Men normally have hair. But some people have hair grow there. And some people have pores. I mean, all of us have pores there. Then we sweat in it. It's a whole complex system. Oh. So that's a whole integumentary system.
Number three, respiratory system.
That one, I think all of us should know what respiratory system is. You know, that one is also a whole system. Nose, mouth, oxygen. I mean, what will we do without oxygen? We are gone. We are gone. And that's just one system. Okay, next system.
Number four, digestive system. Number five, excretory system. Number six.
No, don't go so fast now.
Okay.
Digestive system. All of you understand digestive system. Or no?
Yes.
Then?
Number five, excretory system.
What is excretory system? It's also connected to digestive system. As going to, you know? Going to toilet?
The waste product, the kidney getting water out.
Oh, excretory system is different from going to toilet. Oh. The excretory system is talking about here is
digestive waste.
No, not digestive waste. Digestive waste is the excreta we are talking about. But this is talking about kidney.
Yeah.
Kidney.
Filtering your system out. And
Yeah, lung, kidney.
even the skin also.
Skin also, pancreatitis, no?
The pancreas is under digestive.
Under digestive system. Wow. My God. Excretory system.
Your bladders.
Yeah, the bladders. Yeah.
Bladders, yeah.
Yeah. No, not intestine. No. This one not the intestine. Intestine was the previous one. Intestine was the digestive system. This is different. This is excretory system. Liver. Huh?
All the liquids in the body?
Yeah, more connected to the liquid, right?
Yeah.
It's more connected to the liquid.
Yeah, the excretory, the waste product, like, you sweat comes out from the lung. So things, and then the water will sweat.
Yeah, it's more connected to the liquid parts of the.
Yeah, liquid.
Liquid, yeah.
Waste coming out of it.
Yes. Okay, skeletal system, right? Is the next one.
Number 6, skeletal system.
No, we understand that one. That's the photograph you are seeing there. Skeleton system, okay.
Okay. Number 7, the muscular system.
We understand that one too, right? We think we understand. But there are professors who are trying to understand this thing to the end. Okay?
Number 8, circulatory system.
Okay, so circulatory system is the blood.
Yeah.
Huh? Is the what?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the heart. Then there's the blood vessels, arteries and veins, and the capillary, linking them together. Yeah, it's in fact it's a system
It's
which is very
which very
just
complicated system.
Yeah, just rotating. It returns.
Yeah, it rotates. You see, it's a cycle.
Yeah.
It has a system. When the when the cycle is closed, that's a system, right?
Yeah, it's closed system. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Number 9, endocrine system.
Okay. How many remember? I mean, who knows endocrine system? You don't know endocrine system? Help us through.
Your hormones, I think.
Well, the endocrine system are this system which secretes hormones into your body. So from the brain, you got pituitary gland, then you got the thyroid, then you got in the pancreas, you've got insulin, diabetes. You know, we talk about diabetes is endocrine and so on.
Endocrine system.
Yeah.
So that is about hormones, production of hormones. Even if that one alone is what is faulty. Yeah. Ooh. No, muscular one is more than arthritis. So, it's, you know, when muscles become like water. When what they call it, what they call multiple sclerosis. Yeah. Stephen Hawking.
That's motor neuron disease.
Who? That one is more nervous system, though.
Yes, it is.
It affected the muscles later on. Okay, so that is endocrine system, right?
Number 10, reproductive system.
We already spoke about that, right?
And number 11, the lymphatic or immune system.
Lymphatic system. That's more like, okay.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the lymphatic. Those two systems. They sort of overlap, because the lymphatic, you know, is like those. There's a system which drains some liquid into your lymph glands. Like, you know, you've got an infection, and then you've got the glands appearing under the armpit and the groin. So those are the glands, which is also connected with the immune system, immunity, you know, B cells and things like that. Immune system, yeah.
So, can you imagine how complex you are as a person? All of us are so human beings. All of us are so complex like that. Can you imagine? When you begin to understand how complex you are, you just thank God. But the problem we have with science is that even those scientists know but they just know them as a fact, as a matter of fact. They are not thinking about the complexity of his creation. Because when they think about the complexity of his creation, they will acknowledge God by all means.
Yes.
But they don't. They just take it as a matter of fact because of the way they were taught. They are just taught that you have this, you have this. How come you have it? They don't think deep. Because they just teach them to operate, to just manage it, to just service the system, but not to create the system. So it's all problem that people are not taught about creation of the system. They are only taught to manage what is already there. As a matter of fact, it's there now. It's just like this house now. They brought you here to come and be the cleaner, to come and be the security. You don't care how much did it cost the person who built it. You are just working, you are just doing your own thing. So I'm working in that house, but you know nothing about that house. That is the problem with our scientists now. They know nothing about it. Because when you go now to how was it even made about? How was it created? Who made the system to function like? Then you will know that, this one that is God though.
Systems in our world and in society. Number 1, judicial system.
So we are finished with the system that God created. All these ones are the system that God created, right? And we see that God is a God of system. Now we are going to go into system that we operate in every day. We all live in systems every day, but we are not even aware of them. Because we, like I said yesterday, our people will come to Europe and just want to enjoy the benefit of what is already there. But what makes Europe work or America is because of the system that some people have constructed. They have put in place. So to be able to make Africa work, we need to go, because their grandfather, great-grandparents gave it to them. They have the system already laid down. But in our own case, no system laid down. So it has to be our generation now to take responsibility to learn how to create stuff. That is the main idea why we should be coming to Europe. To understand how things are created, to even think about it. But we don't think about it. We are just saying, oh, I'm here, oh, thank God do I escape. That survival mentality, that survival mentality is what makes us to just say, okay, at least now I need to get a house. Now I bring my brother. Now I bring my sister. Now I get my stay. Now I get my passport. And then I will be going on vacation. And by the time you finish thinking about that, you are dead. Because by the time you do all those things, you don't even have time to think, to think about real life. That's why we cannot reproduce these things in Africa. We don't learn. We learn them in school, but remember, what they teach you in school is not these things. It's how to just operate them, how they function, but not how to create them. You see, that's why educational system is made up by Uncle Sam people, by the world system, this world. And what is made up of is for you to just go and service it, not to compete with the elite that created it. So they never show you, educational system never show you how things are created or come about. They only, make you to know how it runs and your own little part to keep it running. And then the other one will study another little part to keep it running. Then the other one will study another little part to keep it running. So nobody knows anything. So that's why when I was talking yesterday, I said, if you want to name 5 most important things in life, that something that's more important than children, wife, husband, all those things, is self-education. Give yourself the knowledge. If you don't give it to yourself, education doesn't give you. Education gives you enough for you to be able to be a slave in their system. So these systems, people could come to Europe and not be able to create educational system for the whole country that will function perfectly as their own. People could come and they will not be able to create a judicial system that will function perfectly as their own. So what we need to learn is how systems work and how to create systems for everything in life. But this is just a little bit, a few I wrote here, because there are so many more systems that we could talk about. Please.
Okay. So number 1, systems in our world and in society. Number 1, judicial system. Number 2, educational system. Number 3.
Okay, for example, let's talk about judicial system. What is judicial system?
Systems of the courts, enforcement of the, not enforcement.
You see the way it's like we all assume we know, right?
Yeah.
But maybe not so much.
It's the system of interpretation.
But loving it, knowing it is even nothing. Yeah. But then set up for a whole country. Even the Minister of Justice doesn't know. He just comes to office and goes to work. Yeah, he doesn't know. I'm very sure. Just like doctor. Ask any doctor that is here now. Even though you might have a hospital, even you, as a doctor, you don't know how health system work. The whole thing, you don't. It's not your job. You don't even know. You just go to work. Just like you are a nurse. You might be a nurse, but you don't know how the hospital itself even operates. You cannot create it. They don't teach you how to create these things. That is the challenge. Same with all these other systems. A president, for example, comes, is elected there. He comes, he doesn't know how to create these things. He just knows he's a good person. He just knows he will manage the money well. Very few people in the world know how to create systems. Very, very few people. and they rule the world. And they don't want you to know. They just want you to know what you need to know. Get your salary and go home. I mean, for example, right now, maybe I shouldn't talk about it, I will say, my country, Nigeria, we take loans and we are asking for money all the time. Money is never enough in Nigeria. You know, everybody is always complaining about money. Not just Nigeria, every country, almost every country. But the Western world, they seem to have enough money. But they also complain, but not like Africa. You know what they have so much money to do a lot of things. But Africa is like we don't even have anything to do anything. And the reason is because there are some things that God has helped me to come across now. How money is created and generated for countries. Our people don't even know. And if you try to talk to African politicians about it, they think you are a fraud. They don't even know what you are talking about.
I read in the Nigerian news that, you know, the vice president for PDP with Ben Bruce, they came to Britain to ask for loan for help. And I was wondering if PDP was going to be, I mean, they wanted to, I mean, be in government. So if they had won with all their campaign about so their campaign was a lie. If you did not win, and then you now send your second vice president aspirant to go to Britain with Ben Moremus, who has already liquidated a bank, to go and ask, because they post a picture with the former mayor of London, and I was wondering, you come to ask for money, what would you use if you had won?
They would have given the money from Nigeria, the budget, they would have used it to... So
that was a shock to me that what's going on?
They don't have an idea. I know somebody now, for example, who, you know, who is working for the Western system, but who gave me a scheme and a whole strategy of how we could build a system to pay all our debt and also build a system to finance all our projects, or any project in Nigeria, all our projects, without even borrowing anything, without even looking for money again, without even exploring our oil, without even selling. You know, they're just systems like the Western world. You see, the Western world, they don't have any raw materials, and they don't have lack of money. How? Because there is a system that nobody knows about. And our people don't even have an idea. But we are going to bring all that. That's why I'm not afraid about how much it's going to cost. You know how much it's going to cost me to do the project that I have for Nigeria? Yeah, for the, you know, the thing I want to build in Nigeria, the Nigerian project, the whole estimate cost is going to be $4 trillion.
Wow.
And I'm not even phased. Do you see me in panic mode? No. Because of what I know. Because I know that systems will resolve everything. And I already know the system to create the money. So I already know how to do that. So, not a big deal. But my own country, a whole country of 200 billion, don't even have an idea of these things. And we are suffering, wallowing in poverty, and our people are dying of hunger. We have to help Africa, not just Nigeria, all African countries, all these developing countries, just primitive. But Western people are not going to let you know the real secrets. They just give you the education, what you need to just manage, to just work. And you are happy, because you are already happy that you are getting salary. Because you are not after what is behind the structure. You are not even eager for that. You are not even searching for it. You are just happy that they give you something.
Yeah, that's true.
And that you too can drive a car. And somebody is telling me, oh, I have a Bentley. So what? I want to create a Bentley. I want to know how it is created. Okay, not Bentley, but in my own area, you know. So we have judicial system, we have educational system. You think Minister of Education knows what educational system is? Of course not. He's a politician. They just elected, no. He was a teacher. He was just appointed. He didn't study. A teacher, he just knows the subject he was teaching. It's just like now, our professor, our doctor here. Somebody, he will be a politician. Because he was a doctor, they will take him and put him as Minister of Health. You think he knows the health system? No, he's just a teacher. He just knows the subject of medicine, but he doesn't. You know, for you to know medicine, you know, we say somebody is a doctor of medicine or professor of medicine. Nothing like that. It's a lie. It's for you people who are, you know, nothing like professor of medicine. Never in life, and nothing like professor of mathematics also. Never in life. No, because if you say if anybody tells you they are professor of mathematics, ask them. I mean, of medicine or mathematics, anyone. Ask them what area, what subject. What area? In what area are you a professor of medicine? Okay. So if you are medicine, you will say, okay, in nervous system. Okay, nervous system. In what department? What area? What segment of the nervous system? Really? Wow. If you will tell you that the nervous system of the brain, you say, okay, and what is the specialization in that brain part? So you cannot be a professor. Even in your eye, the way they see now. The eye, or what they call optical something, or what they call it. Somebody will say, I'm an optician. Are you a professor, PhD? Okay, you say, okay, what do you specialize in there? Nobody is a professor of anything. No. You think anybody knows anything? Yes, microphone. I hope you knew.
You know, I'm thrilled with these topics we're discussing, to see, you know, how the extent of apartheid.
Apartheid? Apartheid in South Africa?
No, apartheid. Generally.
Even in life. Yeah,
because I'm seeing.
Right.
Because I'm seeing.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, because I'm seeing that there are a lot of things, of secrets that
they don't allow ordinary people to get into.
Yes, even countries, you know.
It's apartheid. Well, that's a strong word, but it's true. So when next time you hear the professor, like Adeboye, for example, professor of mathematics, you have to ask, what area of mathematics? It will tell you algebra. Okay, so algebra, what department? Applied mathematics. So you have to say, out of applied mathematics, what subject, what area? Yes. What segment? What division? And what specialization? Yes. People really know little. Yeah. They just have a vague idea. That's what people just have. Hello, that no problem. So we have educational system. I know somebody who got elected as the educational minister in Nigeria, and she's a lady. She was telling me after she was there, she also didn't know anything about education. She was not even a teacher. She was just somebody around the politicians that she was elected. But she's good, but because she's a hard worker, they just put capable hands. But she didn't know anything. So she got there, and she said, even though I didn't know anything about education, though, but when I began to study what is going on in this Ministry of Education, I never even expected this appointment. But when I began to study, I began to see what the previous minister before me, I didn't know anything, but he himself, he was Olodo. He was flat. He was just going to work and, finding his own job No, was not even to sign the contract, was to look for where they could get some leftovers. Where all the wrong things are lying the wrong way so that they could collect it.
Yes, is it, I mean, I want to ask a question that for like educational system now, someone to be in educational ministry, I mean, head of Minister for Education, it should be people who have, I mean, studied education or teacher who will understand how to put things right in the system better than just bringing someone from nowhere.
Even when they bring a teacher, it's just a teacher.
Yeah, but then it will have some insight.
Some insight. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We have an idea.
Exactly.
We have an
but
idea.
You don't tell me you go and bring a caterer, somebody in the food industry to come and do education.
Yeah.
That's not right. I don't
Yeah,
think
but
so.
that's what you have in your country, I'm sorry. Because it's a political appointment.
It's not only in our country, it happens
Everywhere,
Britain,
everywhere.
because
Even in
people-
Britain too, yeah.
People who don't know about health service,
Yeah.
come and head it and
Yeah,
it's
because
all
it's a
shambles.
political position. Politics is compensation for your faithfulness or for your service in other areas. So it's, but the good thing with Britain is that some people have already, at least, they have the skeleton already set up. But in our own case, nobody to come, what I'm concerned about, that nobody to come to set up systems. It's just like saying, go and make Professor Wale Soyinka, VC of a university. That's not his job. That's not his job. His job is letter, words. It's not an administrator.
Yeah, because he has got the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, because of the status.
worship
Yeah. So other system that we have built is welfare system. By the way, you didn't inform me, when am I supposed to finish today? Or I should just keep on going till the system defaults. Yeah, what is the next system we have?
Number 3, the welfare system.
Okay. Do we even have welfare system in my country?
Non-existent.
In the West, you have it in the West. Well developed. Huh?
Thriving. It's
Thriving?
Yeah. They have it, it's thriving. It is the most important. I mean, Britain has the best welfare system I know in the world.
I think Canada has the best.
Really.
Canada.
Yeah.
Britain has a good welfare system.
Yeah, I think Canada has the best.
Canada has the best. But I would tell you that Norway, Sweden have the best.
Yeah, I had
Yeah, you have to concede to that one.
I read it and
Population there. They don't have many people.
But they have an effective system, especially when it comes to welfare. Scandinavian countries, especially Norway. What do Norwegians, what do you think?
We agree.
For example, our son just got a baby.
Okay.
And he could stay home for 1 year, full paid.
You can't do it in Britain.
Now Britain has lost the battle right there.
Together with the wife, they have to.
Canada too?
It's the same in Canada.
1 year?
Yeah, 1 year.
And they'll pay you.
What about for the mother?
They have to shift 6 months. Yeah.
For 1 year in UK? No.
UK, they are trying to implement that now, but it's never there.
It's 2 weeks.
They are trying
2 weeks.
Yeah.
They're trying to implement it.
2 weeks in UK, and you have 1 year.
1 year in Canada, yes.
It varies. It actually depends. It varies. Depends on the
Yeah, but for the mothers is 1 year.
employer. Some
No, but averagely in the country.
2 years with pay. 2 years with pay. But if you want to go longer than that, then
2 weeks with pay.
sorry, 2 weeks with pay.
You said 2 years.
So 2 weeks. With pay, with full pay.
No, but their own is 1 year with pay.
Another 1 year with pay, and if they want to extend it, then they will have a percentage that they will be giving them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have a different view, guys.
Okay.
Remember, I spoke here about population.
Okay.
See those people in Norway, Sweden. See how many people that are there. They have a system, you know, to encourage people to give birth. So that's one of those that they use, so that at least if you know that, I'm going to stay at home, getting paid for so many years, so many months, then let me give birth. But they can't do that to Nigeria, you know, because Nigeria has 2 million, you know, already. 200 million already. They can't do that to other countries because of that. Only those European countries that are exercising is because of the population.
That's true, because the family in Nigeria having 27 children. That's
27?
27. When you have 3 wives, and the wives give about 6, 7, yeah, 27 children. How would they do that for one family? That would be unfair, really. That would be unfair.
No, but I don't even think we have welfare system at all.
No, we don't have. We have general hospitals. Like you can just go freely and pay some little amount. It was free before.
But the welfare system is more complex than general hospital.
Oh, sorry, sir. Whom shall I give it? No.
Well, we need a system, a whole comprehensive system.
We don't have it at all in Nigeria.
But there is no perfect system.
No. Nigeria will ask you to go and have children. So they force you.
Not even only children. Housing for the, homeless. No. And we have it in Britain. So the welfare is so
complex.
We don't have it yet at home. People are under the bridge.
It's got a big job to do.
10 people sleeping in a room. 10 workers sharing to pay the rent of one room.
But okay, I don't know. For example, in Lagos, one of the reasons there will never be welfare system in Lagos is because they don't even have records.
No.
Everybody is coming with their relatives and they are sharing one room and all that. Yeah. So how will you be able to provide welfare when there is no registration system? So I was talking to Nigeria. I said until we introduce registration, or what do you call it, residence permit in places like Lagos, there would never be order there. No, it doesn't matter who you put as the governor or the ruler, it will never work because you've got to be able to manage. How will you build a system when there is no statistics, no information of, you cannot even regulate it. You must have a system of regulating, but they said Fashola tried to do it and all other states were complaining that it was discrimination, that it was sending people back to their states. We are all Nigerians. Because we are all Nigerians, everybody should just be allowed to. But you cannot allow chaos. Even in Europe here, you have to have residence. You've got to be registered somewhere. You've got to be registered somewhere and you've got to provide proof that you have a means of sustenance. Or who is, under what right are you have a job? Or are you have an income? I don't know. Is that not the way it is in your countries where you live? Yeah. You've got to be registered.
You have to have a social insurance number.
Yeah.
Without that social insurance number, you can't do anything.
You can't get residence.
You can't.
So before you could get residence in Lagos, tell us that you have a job at least. Tell us that you have an apartment but in Nigeria, no order. It's like the politicians are afraid to bring order into the system. They don't know. Is it politics? Maybe it's politics.
No, it's the system.
system. There was no system in place.
You see, that is the only reason why I said I'm afraid that they might not allow me to do what I need to do. Because these things are the things that I want to introduce. And I've already have a system for it on how to resolve all these problems with accommodation for everybody and with residents, with order, with, you know, everything. I've already calculated it in my plans. But would they allow me, would the politicians allow me? That's my only challenge. If the politicians will allow me, I'm going to put all this order in place. And I already have it, 75% is already done. It's already in my plan.
The people will make them allow you.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I like that. So if they don't allow us, we will mobilize the people.
People, yes.
That's how things work.
Huh?
In other countries, that's how things work.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's doable. Yeah, doable.
But maybe it's true that maybe some of them might not, they don't have the in-depth knowledge of these things. I mean, I'm just looking at the Lagos government, for example. They are putting themselves in a whole lot of mess and problem. They are constantly building new roads, you know, doing buses, and always trying to catch up with it. It was 12 million when I left. Now it's 22 million, and they are always trying to catch up. You cannot do that. You've got to stop everything. Shut everybody down. Everybody needs to leave the place who doesn't have the right to live in the city. But no Nigerian has the boldness to do that. Because they are afraid of, I mean, even all those yellow buses and Danfo or whatever they call it, or, you know, Molue. I think they removed them now.
Yeah.
No, I think they removed them from Lagos mainland island, but they are still in the mainland. They are still there.
They created a new type.
When I left Nigeria, there was no Okada. No Okada.
Okada is everywhere.
But what does it cost you to ban it and remove all those rubbish from the street?
There's no way people can move from one point to another.
You know,
They don't provide transport, so you they don't.
They've got to provide transport.
The best thing,
because that is a disgrace for all those Okada things in it. I mean, that's a disgrace, a shame. Even the three cycle or whatever, that's a shame. Civilized society cannot afford to have what you call I'm going to show you my own system. Once I finish by teaching you about system, I'm going to show you how I plan to fix Nigeria transportation system also. In my own plans, there is nothing like all those tricycle. All those are rubbish. Tricycle, motorcycle in the city. And you want to talk about development and civilization? Let me bring tricycle and bicycle to or motorcycle to your city, to Canada.
they will carry the person with the tricycle and jog it.
India, you want to use India as your model? Oh my, help me. India shouldn't be our model at all. India itself is fine, is looking for a way out. India itself is looking for a way of deliverance, and we shouldn't copy failure.
DSA,
we should copy success.
The best way to build Nigeria is to develop all those villages, and allow people and send people to villages. Make everything available there. In Canada, the place where we lived when we first got to Canada, there was police station, there was hospital, very small village.
No,
everything
but what you are talking about are the characteristics of developed society. What you are saying is that the villages are as developed and have the same infrastructure as
that
the
are
cities.
in the city, yes.
Yeah.
People will be forced.
But that is what is called development.
Okay.
So the difference between developed countries and undeveloped societies is that the one evidence you want to look for when you are talking about developed society, how you know that a society is developed, is that they will have the same amenities in villages as in cities. There is no difference. That is when you attain development. But but you cannot do that the way you are saying now. You cannot just chase the people out of town and say they should go. But what I'm trying to do, what I'm going to do is that we are going to rebuild the whole of Nigeria. We are going to remove the whole Nigeria the way it is right now. That's my own plan. We're going to just destroy everything. I mean, I'm coming from Ogun State, and we have the capital of my state. I cannot even show the photograph to anybody. You know, Abeokuta they call it. I mean, what do they call it? Who calls that its capital? It's not even a town. It's not even anything. I mean, it's a disgrace. Or Tugati Badon, for example. I mean, that is just rubbish. That is just terrible. That is a disgrace of mankind. That is like sharks, and they call it Badon. Some people will be saying, I'm from a Badon. You know, I mean, we need to clear that all those. I mean, look at Owerri. Look at what's there. Look at Enugu. I mean, villages are better than those places. So what we need to do is to remove all of them. We need to remove all those cities. We need to rebuild them, and I know how to do it. And I have the plan to do it. So we are going to rebuild just like we rebuilt Abuja. The same way, but the problem with Abuja is that you rebuild just one and left everything else. So all the poor people are coming, they are forming suburbs over there, and you know, again, you are having another Lagos. Yes. So we need to rebuild everything. Not just state capitals, no. Every village, every town, we need to rebuild it. Now, what I'm saying, when I'm talking like this, some people will say, you are crazy. Yes, I'm crazy because you don't know what I know. But when I show you the plans, you will not just know that it's possible. It's the only way for Nigeria. We cannot play cash up again. We can never cash up. We will never cash up. No. There is no way we'll cash up. We will never become developed the way we are right now. Everything has to be rebuilt. That's the only thing. But when we are rebuilding it, we are going to rebuild in such a way. That's according to our plan. Me and my team. We have a whole team working on this. So the way we are going to rebuild it is this. We are going to rebuild it such that the latest achievement in technology, the most advanced technological something in any area is where we're going to start from. So let's say traffic system, for example, the most advanced of it will be at the front. It will be where we are starting from. So that's the only way to catch up. So right now, the thing they are just introducing into Canada, into Europe, is where we are starting. And then we train everybody to operate from there. That is the only way for Nigeria.
Just like you mentioned...
Microphone.
Sorry. Just like
that takes a whole system. To rebuild a whole country, you cannot even imagine how much system we need. But I'm going to show you some of those systems before we go.
Okay. I was saying that just like you showed us about God's system, like reproduction, you know, that you build a system and then you duplicate. You know, because if one system, you know, is built, say, for instance, in the center of a country, it's easy now to duplicate.
So why has Nigeria not duplicated since 30 years of Abuja? Because they don't have a master plan. They don't have a holistic approach to life. They don't have a systematic approach to life. They just did that one, and they begin to pat themselves in the back, just like the footballers. We scored one goal. Celebration galore. We just patted ourselves in the back. And if anything, let's go to Abuja. If Abuja is not good enough, let's go to London. Or Dubai now. Anyway, let's keep on talking about the systems that need to be created.
Okay, number 4.
We have to start again.
All right, from number 1. From the top. Systems in our world and in society. Number 1, judicial system. Number 2, educational system. Number 3, welfare system. Number 4, healthcare system. Number 5, correctional system. Number 6, governmental system. Number 7, financial system. And number 8, prison system.
Now, but the prison system and correctional system, are they not the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some systems you use every day and may not be aware of. Number 1, traffic lights and roadway system, otherwise known as the transportation system.
How is your country doing in that regard?
I went to Nigeria and the car that was driving, and there was a red light, meaning that we can't go. But the driver went through.
In Lagos?
In Ibadan. He just went through. And I was shouting, oh! He said, Madam, please don't panic. There's no problem. And he went through.
And I'm sure the other ones behind followed.
Of course.
So it is not just the country that must be rebuilt. The people, the mentality, mindset of the people need to be. And that's the plan we are having, to rebuild the people's mindset as well.
That's the most difficult.
The most difficult one.
When they begin to see changes, they will adjust.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we need to train them
Yeah.
to function in the new system.
No, with penalties.
Penalties,
You're
yes.
not giving them that one.
There must be penalties.
The road traffic, sorry sir, officer take the 200 pounds and 300.
200 naira?
And they let them go. Yeah, 1,000.
15 naira.
Okay, 15 naira. Thank you, sir.
So traffic light system, because even the traffic light you are talking about in that Ibadan, Lagos, it's not a system yet. It's a system must be comprehensive. System must be self-sustaining, because they just, okay, in that, the whole of Lagos, only about 10 streets has, you know, they have traffic light here, and then it will work sometime by luck. Sometimes it will work. It's not a system. And all others, the whole of the city doesn't have traffic light. Or you think the whole of Lagos has traffic light? Yeah. Even Abuja, the whole of it doesn't have light. Only in some places.
Where they even have there will be no light to make it function.
That's true.
So no system. So we still need to set up that whole traffic light and roadway system, transportation system. Okay.
Number 2, the fast food services or the drive-through system.
Those are some of the things we use, but somebody built that and built a system for it, so that you just drive through like this, and it's free. So somebody came up with that, not even a country. Okay.
Number 3, office management systems.
You know, administration and things that we see, we run, okay.
Number 4, banking systems. The power of a system.
Okay,